is what's called customer experience in the professional world outside of weddings. CX is kind of the big way they're describing it. The books are all titled that, so I wanted to make sure you lead with the correct terminology more than just customer experience. We're going to talk a lot about why does customer experience actually matter, how you can co-create with your customers so you're not having to figure it all out yourself. And then, as the topic stated, we're going to talk about 10 ways that you can do this within your business. So what technically is customer experience? It's really all of the interactions that people have with your company in every which way. Emails, website, post-sale, before sale, after the event happens. It's all the things, right? It's all the steps, all the things and the ways that a customer can connect with you. It's every step of that journey that they take as a company. It's things about like, how do they find out about your company? What does your marketing look like? What does your branding look like? What does your business card look like to the people you passed out in the room, right? Because that really says something about what kind of customer experience you give. When you get a business card that's all gold foil and fancy and bougie, you know that that vendor in general is probably more of a high-end luxury type vendor. And what other people think about their experience, social media is a wonderful and horrible thing. Because it's a great place for people to be able to share how your company presents itself, and the website is the biggest part of this. What your website says and how it's displayed and how it functions, all these things matter. And it's really every interaction point, before, during, after, part of the sales process. So why do you actually have to care about this, right? Things have changed very much. It's 2019. The world has changed in the way we online shop, in the way we find new vendors or things in our world. I know every time I'm trying to find someone, a plumber, a housekeeper, a referral for anything, guess where I go? Anybody? Yeah, Facebook, online, I Google it, I read reviews. Usually Facebook though. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you know that's my first stop. I'll go on and say, hey, listen, I'm looking for X. Does anybody have a great referral? So the world has changed the way we shop, the way we look for things, and big brands have really changed that. Those of you who know me at all know that I have a serious Amazon problem. John can attest to this, right? Amazon is a wonderful and amazing place that I can get anything from the world to appear at my door in almost 48 hours. Sometimes I can order toilet paper at 10 a.m. and it's at my house by 3. In 5 hours, I can get toilet paper to appear, right? But all of these types of brands and companies, they've really changed the name of the game. Groceries get delivered to my house in Instacart. I don't have to go to the store anymore. Warby Parker, for those of us who have glasses, instead of having to go by myself, take 7,000 pictures of myself, text them to my partner and my friends and be like, do you like this one? Do you like that one? I've done it to people in this room, right? Like now, I can go online, order 5 different pairs, they mail them to my house, I can try them on, like them, don't like them, send them back, get another 5 without paying. These big brands have changed the way customers shop. This isn't a millennial thing, this is a people thing. We all buy differently because of the way big brands have changed the game. So even though most in this room aren't huge corporate entities, we're very small brand focused, you really still have to do these things because the customer expects it. The customer expects an over-the-top customer experience. So when I was looking for something, I'm all about the quotes. So when I was looking for something that inspired me, Joey Coleman is a CX expert. He's written books about it. He's quoted all over the place. He's got a killer blog. Every single interaction, the most minute details of the interaction you have with your customer are an opportunity for you to create something remarkable. This is literally what customer experience is about. It's about creating remarkable moments that people are going to remember, that they're going to talk about, and that are going to matter for the growth of your business long term. So let's talk a little bit about co-creation. I don't expect you to figure this all out on your own. I'm going to give you lots of tips and ideas and things today. But co-creation is about working with your customer to come up with some of these ideas. So it's really, they want one thing, what you think they want, and somewhere in between is where co-creation occurs. So let me give you a great example. When I worked at a venue, for those of you who know, I was at Mission Inn, kind of a little bit far out there. When I first started, I kept thinking, how am I going to sell this place? Kind of out in the middle of nowhere, it's a little bit far away. And as I was working and talking to customers and touring and telling them all the features and all the activities, out of one of my potential bride's mouth was the word wedding weekend. 2 words. She said, oh, it's like a whole wedding weekend. And I was like, what did you just say? She said, it's like a wedding weekend. I was like, say it again? And I changed everything. I changed all my marketing because what I thought they want was the activities, the hotel rooms, whatever. What they wanted was a 3-day party. So I really changed how I marketed based upon words that they used, right? So you really have to pay attention and do some active listening to what your customers are saying. So I want you to shout out a brand that you think provides a killer customer experience. Disney. What'd you say? Instacart. Who else? Chick-fil-A. Oh, there's so many good Chick-fil-A things. Chewy. Yes, Chewy. If you have pets, you should be using Chewy. They deliver to the door, and I don't have to carry 70 pounds of food out of the store anymore. So the first one is I want you to really start paying attention to customer experiences that inspire you. There are moments in our life with Instacart, Chick-fil-A, things like that. You're already experiencing these moments, right? So I want you to internalize them. Take the picture, put it somewhere so you don't forget. You need to remember what it felt like when some kind of company or brand did this for you. So speaking of Chick-fil-A, I want to think about the 17-year-old who's probably bored on a Monday night, who didn't have anything to do. Somebody handed them a stack of bags, and they just wrote, have a splendid day on every single bag. Right? This can't be the only bag that went out that day. This is literally a picture in my car, right? This can't be the only bag that went out that day. How many times do I get a bag, eat something, toss the bag, and don't even notice it? But this made me actually smile. I was like, hey, Chick-fil-A cares. They actually care what kind of day that I'm experiencing. So you have to start paying attention to when these things happen to you and say, how can I do this in my business? How can I provide more of that kind of feeling to the people that I work with? This is like a basic one, but I want to give you something to start with. You should have an FAQ on your website. I know that seems a little ridiculous for that being a customer experience, but one of the things we're going to talk about is anticipating needs. You should answer the questions that they're going to ask before you ask them, before they get a chance to ask them. How many times, raise your hand if they ask you the same dumb questions over and over and over again. Okay, now I can't promise that they're going to read this, so let's be clear. Yes, I can't guarantee reading of it, but what I can tell you is that having this does help, because there will be people who do read it. So it's kind of a part of, and so for the SEO junkies in the room, here's a really good one. They ask the question, answer the question, and then link to read more. This is not in the event industry, but it was a good FAQ. Link to read more, and that links to a full blog post talking a lot more about that topic. That's internal linking within your website, which is really good for your SEO. Shout out to Rudy and Marta for teaching me a lot of the things I know about SEO. So you really want to make sure that you're doing things like this and answering the questions that you know they ask. It saves some time, sometimes. Make something regular memorable. Let's talk about Joe from Elegant DJs, name tags today. Elegant Entertainment, DJs, lighting, all the above, video, right? Did you see the name tag tonight? Did you see that thing? I can see it from here. It's lighting up with his name, his website. You want to talk about taking something regular and making it memorable? That is an experience. This is the first night you're ever meeting him, you won't forget him. Right? You won't forget him. Oh wait, I gotta go back before you see the picture. So let me set this one up. So I'm from a small town in Connecticut. It's a city, but it's a small town. And we have a tiny little grocery store. We got the big ones, but we like the little ones. And I'm visiting my sister, and we're at the little grocery store, and it's time for the ladies' room. So I go to the ladies' room. On the back of the bathroom door is an ad for All Brand cereal that says, see you at the same time tomorrow. It's a brand cereal reminding me they'll see me tomorrow in the bathroom, on the back of the bathroom door. I laughed so hard, I almost had a hard time going to the bathroom. Took a picture of it, shared it on social media, tagged the grocery store. Like, I had never talked about something so basic and regular. You like that? That worked out good? Did that work out good? Unintended, but it worked great. How many of you have secret shopped yourself in the last 7 days? Last 30 days? Last 6 months? Yeah, secret shop your own teams. I mean, it's kind of hard to secret shop yourself, but you have friends in this room. Ask a friend. I had a friend secret shop me and realized that I did not respond. I have a 12-hour response time is the rule I set for myself, and I did not make the goal. It was a busy few days. I was slammed. I just didn't get to the email. I was like, damn. But I had them like pretend like they were a potential customer to see how long it took me, and like I didn't know that it was not a real customer. So I secret shop myself. When you do this and you start using your business the way a customer would, when they go on your website, how easy is it to find things? You can't forget the post-sell. I think that's probably the biggest fail in our entire industry is people who buy 10 months out from now. What do you say to them for the next 10 months? It looks like this. They like buy. They're there. She's not pissed off. She's not unhappy. She's just sitting there waiting for her wedding to come. She doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing. She doesn't know if you actually need anything. You know that you don't need a song list from her until 3 weeks out. You don't need to do final details until whatever. But that, like, they're signed, now what, is one of the biggest fails in our world, in our industry. And I truly believe that because when my friends get married, I hear it over and over again. They don't know our world, right? So they sign a contract and they're like, when should I expect to hear from the florist again? What am I supposed to? Now you can do a lot of this with simple stuff like monthly email newsletters to only booked clients. If you're a DJ, you can give them song ideas. If you're a photo booth company, you could do things like prop ideas or how to let your guests know there's going to be a photo booth. But you want to make sure hair and makeup, skin tips, things like that on how to prep for what's coming, what they can expect to hear from you. At the venue I worked at, we were required to call every single bride every single month. Not always phone call, but an email that was like, hey girl, what you need? How you doing? Because we have a room full of vendors in here that they haven't booked yet. So when you say, how's the planning going? And they're like, oh my God, I'm trying to pick a cake. Can you help? I'm like, yes, I can. And I can refer a friend. But if you don't ever talk to them after they book with you, this doesn't really happen with planners, but it does sometimes happen when it's day of only. Because they book, and then it's like, okay, I'll see you about 8 weeks out, which is great. But when they hear nothing from you in between, they just kind of feel like this. They're just there. So it's probably the easiest area for you to start as to what can you do differently when it comes to that. What do you want them to leave saying about you, your business, your company, and their experience working with you? It's important to think about this when you're thinking about your customer experience process. What do you want them to say? It was the best cake I've ever eaten in my entire life, and the tasting was the most fun I've ever had. We drank wine and ate cake. And what do you want them to say? But if you're not thinking about this in advance, they're saying the nice things about you. They're pretty flowers. We danced all night. The cake was yummy. My planner was great. It's just not enough to set yourselves apart in today's market. It's important to think outside of it. Businesses that provide an extraordinary customer experience are more profitable and sustainable than their competition because people come back. They'll come back and do business again. They'll refer a friend. They'll send, and then you don't really have to pay for that marketing, right? They refer a friend. But it's easier to get more business by giving that amazing customer experience.